What's up, everybody? This is the Healing Kings podcast, and this is your host, Drew Cost. Today, I got a story I want to tell you guys that I believe will help you. It has definitely helped my life. It's the story of Batman, The Dark Knight Rises. Now, there's a couple scenes that probably stuck with me forever, that hit home and hit me in ways that I honestly didn't think it would get me. You know, I love movies. I love Batman. I'm not really like a comic person or superhero person, but I definitely like Batman. Always wanted his attire in his car. So let's jump into this episode. Now, in this episode or in this movie, he is kind of retired. He's giving it up. This is after Harvey Dent has died, and he's kind of through with everything. So he's at home chilling. His body is broken up, and he gets you can call it a message. They put the bat signal up for him to come back. Long story short, on this part, he ends up coming back, and things are totally different now. People don't like him anymore. People hate him now because they think he killed Harvey Dent. Go watch the movie Dark Knight Rises. He gets to a point where he knows that Bane is kind of almost his colleague, almost, so to say. They were in the same tribe, same team, the League of Shadows. I'm not going to do Bane's voice right now, but they're in the League of Shadows. And with this, Batman knows that Bane is not doing things in a way where it's actually right. He knows Bane's trying to destroy Gotham, and Bane is just going to be putting a wool over people's eyes. He's going to make people feel that he's for the city, that he wants them to succeed, and yada yada. So in the movie, they get to a scene where Batman meets Bane, and they're getting ready to fight. And this scene is so cool. He gets there. Batman says in his Batman voice, Bane. And Bane is like, let's not stand among ceremony here, Mr. Wayne. And he's like, we're members of the League of Shadows, and you betrayed us. He calls him Mr. Wayne. No one calls Batman Mr. Wayne because no one knows that Batman is Mr. Wayne. So Bane knows the real him. Bane's like, bro, you got this cape on, you got all this stuff, but we know who you are. Like, you're really Batman. He calls him Mr. Wayne. They start to fight, and it looks like Batman's winning. Like, Batman's hitting him, Bane's taking it, all that stuff. And when this starts to happen, Bane says, you fight like a young man, memorable but mistaken. This right here blew my mind. Memorable but mistaken. What does that mean? You're thinking you're going to fight this new battle with some of your old tactics. You can't do that anymore. This is a whole different ball game. This is a whole different season. When I heard that, it immediately hit me where in new seasons, you're going to need new tools. You're going to need new tools. You're going to need help from other people who are better than you. As a man, sometimes that's hard because we don't want to confront that we need help from other men. We need help from other men. You need bigger, you need more advice. You need more wisdom. Sometimes you need someone telling you, hey, you got to slow down, or hey, you got to do this differently. He tells them, you fight like a young man, memorable, but not mistaken. Memorable, but mistaken. They keep fighting, and he tells him, victory has defeated you. Bane tells Batman, victory has defeated you. You've got so wrapped up in the wins that you let go of why you actually were doing the stuff. You got so comfortable winning that you didn't realize at all that you're probably still losing. That's wild. That's wild. He's like, you got so comfortable winning that you lost your hunger to actually learn to keep fighting. That took me by surprise. You never want to get so comfortable winning and doing so good that you forget that you still have to keep feeding that lion on the inside. I like to call it the beast, or I just like to call it the lion. You have to keep feeding the hunger, or it's going to die, or you're going to start thinking that everything you're going to just walk up to and just defeat. That's not going to happen. He tells him, victory has defeated you. So we move on in a fight, and now Batman probably realizes by now, Bane is not going to be an easy walk in the park. Brother is jacked. This is not going to be this is not going to be easy. He still fights him, and Batman's like, you know what? I got a trick that always works. Got something up my sleeve. He goes and he shoots out the lights, right? He darkens the place. And these words, I will remember forever this scene. Go watch the scene. It's Batman fights Bane, Dark Knight Rises. He shoots the lights out, and Bane says, I wish I could say it in his voice. He says, you merely adopted the dark. I was born by it. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was a grown man. And by that time, it was nothing to me but blindness. Let me go through that again. You got to hear it in Bane's voice. He goes, you merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was a grown man. And by that time, it was nothing to me but blindness. He told Batman, basically, right? You think these little tricks are going to actually defeat me by being in the dark? I like to look at the dark, when I say dark, as a place where you really get to grow, a place where you really got to grind, a place where, you know, my man Malik Champlain always says, you know, you kill what you eat, we eat what we kill, where you got to do some of that. This is a place where there ain't no cameras, there ain't no Instagram, there ain't no YouTube. It's just you, your emotions, and you got to get out of that, and you got to fight back. He says, you just like adopted the dark by just doing all this. This is where I was raised. I was molded by this. I didn't see the light until I was a grown man. And by that time, it was blindness. In every season, you might have to go into that cave a little bit, men. This is not the man cave, and this is not the cave where you go and you become macho, you become this person who anyone can't deal with. But you got to go back to that place to realize there's some growing that I got to do. There's some things I got to get into place to get me unstuck. There's some emotions I got to actually go deal with if I want to go to this next level. He says that. He starts to beat on Batman, and the last part of this fight that got me, man, it got me. He's fighting him, and Batman, is getting beat, and all of a sudden Batman tries to like come back and fight back. There's a fighter in him. He tries to fight back, and now Bane literally says, I was wondering what was gonna break first, your spirit or your body. This is a compliment that he gives him. It's just not in a good context, but he gives him a compliment. I was wondering what was going to break first, your spirit or your body. Why does he say that? Because at this time, Batman's beat. Batman's like, yo, I have nothing. I'm not going to beat this dude. I have nothing left. And Bane knows it. Bane tells him, I was wondering what was going to break first, your spirit or your body. And then he puts Batman across his knees and like almost breaks his back. After you seen the scene, they ship down all of Batman's cars, his car and his stuff, and this scene is over. All of these lessons are lessons of how do we keep fighting? How do we stay sharp? How do we stay intact, men? You got to get around other men. I've always thought, why didn't Batman have adequate friends at this time? Yes, he had Robin at one time, but at this time of him coming back, why didn't he have adequate friends? And there's really no short answer. He didn't. And Bane knew it. So go watch Dark Knight Rises if you never saw it before. or if you wanted to go on YouTube and watch that scene is amazing. There's so much in that scene for men, so much in that scene just to chew on and realize about life. But more than anything, fellas, just remember, there's a fighter in you, right? Keep him sharp, keep him intact. And this is not a fighter that's going against the world. This is a fighting that's going against being mediocre, a fighter that's going against you shutting down on your family and your emotions. Fight against that. And more so a fighter against believing that you don't matter, because as always, you do matter. You're very, very important in this world, and you're important to me. And I love you, right? I love you, bro. If I can give you a hug, I would give you a hug. More than anything, guys, go be great.